Hi everyone, my name's Joanne Rutherford and I work for Sora. I am the functional skills lead for Sora, and I've been asked to make you all a video showing you how you would access the practice assessments online. So for all of those that are doing entry level functional skills, maths and English assessments, they will be done on paper. But if you are doing level 1 and level 2, you will be sitting your exams and assessments online. So you will have to use the online platform to do the exams. So I thought it would be a great idea to do you a video and take you through that step by step so you know how to access the exams. So hope you're all actually enjoying learning functional skills, maths and English with your tutors. So I'm going to share my screen now and I'll show you how to access the practice assessments. Okay. So what you would need to do is you would need to go onto the NCFE Qual Hub website. So as you can see, I have mine saved in my favorites. So once you've gone on the website, it might be a great idea to save it into your favorites, and then you can access that quicker the next time you do it. So it's NCFE @ Qual Hub. That is the one that you need to go on to. So you would go onto that website and it brings us to the home page of the website. So what you would need to do is you would need to scroll down and select Reformed Functional Skills. Then you would scroll right down to the very bottom, and where you can see here it says Reformed Functional Skills Online Assessments. So you would just click onto there, and then you would go all the way down to the bottom and find the assessment that you would like to practice on. So remember, these are where you would access the practice assessments. So as you can see here, it's split up into qualifications. So we have level 1 English reading, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 practice assessments for the level 1 English reading. You also have the marking schemes, which you can also download and then mark the assessments yourself, or you could take print screens of your assessments as you go through them and put your print screens on a Word document, save that document, and you can send that to your tutor. Then your tutor can mark the practice assessment and give you feedback. But if you do want to access the marking schemes yourself, this is where you would find them, and this is where you would find your practice assessment. So as you see further down, there's the level 1 writing, the level 2 reading, the level 2 writing, the level 1 maths and the level 2 maths. So as you can see, you have 5 assessments for each qualification. So let's say if we want to click on level 1 English reading, you would just click on assessment, and we have to install, well, first of all, we have to download and install the Surpass viewer. So how you would do that is you just follow the instructions. So it says step 1, download and install the Surpass viewer. So depending on which software you use, this is for your Mac and this is for Windows. So I use Windows. So I would just click on download Windows installer, and you can see it appears here in my downloads. So you can see that it's downloading the Surpass viewer. Now I already have it downloaded onto my desktop, so I'm going to stop that there. But what would happen is it would just all download, and then it would go onto your desktop. So as you can see on my desktop, there is the surpass viewer. All right, so once that's downloaded and that's appeared on your desktop, the next thing you would need to do is step 2, and that is to just click on this link here. So follow this link to resume your progress using the surpass viewer. So I'm just going to click on that link and then I'm going to press open. What this does is this opens up your practice assessment. There you go, it's now working. I was running a little bit slow. So as you can see, it's starting to download the test. Just have to be patient. There you go, brilliant. So we can say that it's downloaded and it is the level 1 reading practice test. Because it's a practice test, you just press OK. All right, and you just press confirm. Because it's a practice test, they've just used false or dummy information on this bit here. But when you do your actual test, this will be your personal information. So it's very important to check that your name is spelled correctly and that your date of birth is also correct when you come to do the real live assessment. But for the practice assessment, you would just press confirm. Okay, now this is the test loader now. All right, now it's very important that you read all of the information before you press start. So this is the level 1 functional skills qualification in English reading, and it's telling us it's just a sample assessment. So the time allowed is 1 hour. The number of questions is 19 and the total marks available is 30. Instructions: answer all questions, read each question carefully, type your responses in the spaces provided, and all of the work you submit must be your own. Important: the marks available for each question are shown in brackets. The use of a dictionary is permitted, and do not begin the test until you are told so by the invigilator. So once you've read all of that and you're ready, you can press start. So this is the test here. So I'm just going to move my camera down there so I can show you this bit. Okay, so once you've finished your test, this is where you would press finish. Yeah, if your time runs out, the test would automatically end and finish. But if you've finished your test and you've answered all of the questions, you can finish the test yourself. This shows the progress that you've made during the test. So the more questions you answer, this progress starts filling up, and it tells you how much of the percentage of the test you've completed. So once you get to the end, if this progress isn't 100% and you feel like you have answered all of the questions, it means you've by accident skipped a question. So you would then have to go back and find out which question it is that you've missed. This tells us the total test time remaining. So for this test, we get 60 minutes, and you can see that it's counting down. So you can then monitor how long you have left on the tests. This tells us which question we are on. So as you can see at the moment, we're on question 1. It tells us here how many marks each question is worth. So we can see here that question 1 is worth 1 mark. The questions are just typed into the box like that. Read the document. This is our document here. You would just click on the document, and then you could read the document and then look for the answers to answer the questions. So to bring the document back up, you just click on it. To get rid of the document, you just press on the cross and it goes away. Please be mindful that you must use the scroll bar so you don't miss any questions that may be at the bottom of the page. If there was something that you weren't sure on and you didn't know the answer and you wanted to go back at the end of the test, there is a flag option, which is just on the bottom here. You would just flag, and it tells you that you flagged a question on question 1. So when you come to the end of the assessment and you do press finish, it will tell you that you have a flagged question that you've not answered, and it prompts you to go back and answer the question. Once you've answered that, if you just press the flag button, you can see it unflags the question. So once you've answered all of the questions, you would press next. And then as you can see, we are now on question 2. So you would answer all of the questions again, all the way down at the bottom, and press next. And then again, it brings us to question 3. Now, as you can see, once we click on document, it's a different document to the other on questions 1 and 2. So again, you would just fill in all of the information. Some things have a drop-down box where you would have to select the answer. And again, once you've answered all of the questions, you would just press next. Once you've gotten to the end, so I'll press number 5, which takes us to the final question. And then once you've answered all of the questions, and it's the end of the assessment, and you are fully confident you've answered all of the questions to the best of your ability, you can then press finish on the exam. So if you wanted your tutor to be able to see your answers and mark your assessments, you would have to do print screens of the test and paste them onto a Word document. So how I would do that is I would just press print screen on my keyboard. I would open up a Word document. It's just open now. It takes a little bit of a time. My computer, it's a bit slow. And open up a blank document. And paste. And then you can see, once you've done that, you can save that document onto your computer, and then you could send the document to your tutor to mark and give you feedback, and they'll be able to tell you whether you would have passed the practice assessment or not. They'll be able to tell you what you got wrong, and how many marks you received, and what your percentage was as well. Okay, so let's finish this exam. So it tells you if you have not answered all of the questions. It says, you have not attempted all of the questions in this test. Are you sure you would like to finish? So this is where you would find out if you've missed any questions by accident. If you haven't and you're confident you finished, you would just press finish. And then finish again. And okay. Okay. All right. So if you want to then access a maths paper, you would just go back to the assessments and we'll do a level 2 maths this time. So we'll click on start assessment again. Because you've already installed the surpass viewer, you don't have to reinstall it. You would just click straight on step 2 on the link and it would download the exam when you press open. There you go. Exactly the same. Okay. And then confirm. There you go. So I'll show you something I didn't show you on the last one. You've got a settings option here. So if you're not quite keen on the colour on the assessment, you can change the colour. So if you have dyslexia and a certain colour works best for you, then you can change the colour of the exam. So we can change it to cream with black text or black with white text. We can have light blue, green, yellow. We can change the background. So you can put it to your preference. All right, so again, we can see here that because it's now on the reform, you do have a non-calculator test and you also have a calculator test. So section A is the non-calculator test and you get 30 minutes to complete that section. Then once you've completed that, you would go on to section B, which is your calculator test, and you get an hour and a half. So 1 hour, 30 minutes to complete that section. We can see that there's only one activity in the non-calculator test and there's a total marks available is 15. And we can see there's 3 activities to complete in the section B. And you actually get 45 marks, up to 45 marks available in that section. So once you've read all the information and you fully understand, you would press start test. So we are now in the non-calculator section. So when you're doing your practice assessment, please ensure you do not use a calculator on this section. All right, so exactly the same as the reading, it tells you how many marks are available on each test, on each question, sorry. So you would show your workings out. This is just an example. In the box like that. That would be where you would put your workings out. You must remember to write your answer in the actual answer box provided. Again, you would have to use the scroll bar to go all the way down to the bottom. You may have to click on on certain things to bring information up that you need to answer the question. All right, so you would just click on that. And then once you've got down to the bottom of the page and you're confident you've answered all of the questions, you would just hit next. So you are attempting to navigate away from this page with unanswered questions remaining. You will be unable to return to this page if you leave. Are you sure you want to proceed? So it's coming up that because obviously I haven't answered any of the questions. So it tells you that you've missed questions. If you're happy to continue, just press yes. yes, I would like this section, finish section, and it brings us on to section B. Now we can see here section B, and then is now the calculator test. So this means you may use a calculator. So there is no calculator provided on the actual exam. You would have to use a handheld calculator yourself. So once you've read all of the information, then you just press next. It's laid out exactly the same. There's our 3 tasks that we must complete in section B. And again, it tells you how many marks are available for each question. It gives us a box to show our workings out. So whatever you've typed into your calculator, you must type those workings out into the box provided. If you don't provide your workings out, then you will lose marks. Again, if it ever says click here to view, this is very important. You need to click on that to access the information you need to answer the questions. All right, so you can see again, you have to scroll all the way down. There will be sometimes where you have to use, this is it, yeah. You have to maybe use some tools. So what I would suggest, I would just have a go at doing all of them. So you've got 5 practice tests, all right? You might not have time to sit and do all 5 practice tests, but I would definitely have a go at doing these sort of questions on all of the tests, so you get used to using the tools provided to answer the question. As you can see here, we have to plot our coordinates. Where does it say? Yeah, so we have to plot the coordinates on here. So you would have to get used to, again, using these tools. So if you wanted to add text, if you wanted to select something or move something, this is where you would colour fill the objects. This is where you colour the line of the objects. If you make a mistake, you can undo it. This is where you copy, and this is where you paste. I think there might be one where you would have to put a bar chart in as well. Is it? Not that question. There was one where you would have to build a chart. So again, I would just recommend, here it is, I think, where you have to use graph paper. So you have to actually build a graph. Yeah, that's it there. So, you know, if you wanted to add lines in, you can select the tool to put it in line like that. If you wanted to add text, you'd select the text tool. And then if you wanted to change the color of the lines, you could to purple or any color that you like. Trying to stay away from certain colors. You know, that fair enough if you were doing a bar chart and you wanted to change the colors of your bars, that would be great. But when you're doing lines and things, I would try and stick with black because it's easier to see and read for the examiner. So you can see once I've started doing something on the test, the progress has actually moved up to 4%. So this is where you would monitor the progress throughout the exam. There you go. So it's telling you here that you need to make a scatter graph. So what you would do, you would just click on it, and then it's showing you how to add scatter points, which is here. So you could start Now it's onto your graph like that. You can do text again if you want to add text, if you want to add a key. You can add your key that way, or you can edit your axes as well if you want. So if you want to put numbers in, you could put numbers up at the side. So there's the final question. So again, once you think you've answered all of the questions and you're quite happy that you finished, you would then press finish on the exam. Yes, I would like to finish, and finish, and finish again. And that would be the exam gone. So I hope that's been helpful. But if you do have any of the issues, then feel free to drop me an email and ask any questions. My email address, I'll show you. That is my email address, van.rutherford@sora-group.co.uk. So if you have any issues or you would like to ask me any more questions or further on how to access the practice assessments, just drop me an email and I shall get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks now. Take care. Bye.